Hi guys, welcome back. And today we're going to be discussing about the paint sector, right? We will be taking three companies, that is Asian Paints, Berger Paints, and Indigo Paints, and we'll be discussing about the Q2FY24 results. So starting off with the giant of the industry, that is Asian Paints, and then followed by Berger Paints. If you look at it, they had a very decent top line growth. Yeah, they've had a very decent top line growth. Nothing much to talk about it in terms of Asian Paints or Berger Paints. The revenue has been flat on a year-on-year basis, and PAT has been up 50% on a year-on-year basis. Now, if you see, of course, I wouldn't compare QOQ, as you all know. Q2 is very lean and a seasonal quarter, and right now all the festivities has been shifted to Q3. So of course, going Q2 has been even more worse compared to last quarter. But having said that, you would have all seen that the PAT has been growing, and people might be wondering, to why is the stock not moving, right? Because right now the PAT has grown by 50%. But the reason is simple here. जो भी उनका PAT का growth हुआ है या margin expansion हुआ है, it is on the account of fall in raw material prices, ठीक है? So एक ना एक दिन तो ये normalize हो ही जाएगा, because ultimately if you want your PAT to grow, which is one of the important parameters if the shareholder has to make money, is that your sales also has to grow, right? Your top line has to grow. Like, how long will you keep making profits out of like the increased price and combined with the combination of fall in raw material prices? So that is a problem with Asian Paints. The top line has been weak. Even if I have to talk about volume and value growth, until now we've seen, it's like last year the complete value growth because of inflation in raw material prices. But this quarter you're finally seeing that the volume growth is catching up. Value growth has been flat, of course, now that raw material prices are stable. But volume growth is also not that impressive. Volume growth on a year-on-year basis has hardly been 6%, right? So nothing much to talk about. Both Berger Paint also similar story, low volume growth, and they have a huge base. Distribution is like sabhi jagah fail chuka hai. So there is no point in going deeper, like deep into this company. And I don't want to waste my time or your time either, right? I think everybody knows it is a good, it is good for someone who's targeting the decent 10 to 12% ka growth, Asian Paints can. But other than that, there is nothing much. I mean, I think these are the stocks where you can like literally park your money and just what people keep preaching about, the peaceful investing. You can do that, but having said that, also realize like you cannot make that significant amount of money that probably Asian Paints or Berger Paints or the other large cap stocks did once upon a time that they did like few years ago. Now coming back to the stellar, how do I tell you, like the I wouldn't say out of park, but how do I tell you? The star of the sector has been Indigo Paints, right? And one of the reasons in one second, yeah. One of the reasons Indigo Paints has been doing really well, of course, it is very small in size compared to Asian Paints and Berger Paints. That is number one. Take care. The other reason is the distribution. Like if you see Asian Paints and Berger Paints, they started in T1 and T2 cities, and they started moving to T3 and T4 cities now for expansion. Now, of course, right, T1 and T2s में आपका margin ज़्यादा होगा, because people in T1 and T2 cities will prefer relatively a higher product, in the sense like maybe luxury paints, decorative paints, waterproofing paints, and everything, right? T3 and T4 में क्या होगा, you will find people preferring putty and distemper and low value paints, okay? So as a result, you will always see, like, that is also one of the reasons the Asian Paints will not be able to grow the base, and this effect is also the reason that Asian Paints and Berger Paints will not be able to grow at the same rate as Indigo Paints, okay? And whereas Indigo Paints is moving from, they started, as you all know, they started in Kerala, and majority of the revenue, I think now 25% of the revenue, 25% in odd revenue comes from Kerala. They started from T3 and T4 cities, and now they're moving into T1 and T2 cities. Plus, the base is very, very small. They're able to grow at a faster rate because of that small base, right? So right now they're moving into T1 and T2 cities. People prefer higher value paints over there. So overall, as a result, because of that, you will see Indigo Paints performing well. Now let us go and see individually यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है in terms of Indigo Paints, ठीक है? Indigo Paints, अगर आप देखते हो, it has been the highest in terms of revenue. Like the top line has grown compared to any other paints company. It has grown highest, like 15% on a year-on-year basis. अगर आप quarter on quarter देखोगे, in spite of lean quarter, they have grown around 3.42%. PAT भी 29% increase हुआ है year-on-year basis, and quarter-on-quarter में 20%. So overall, a great, how do I tell you, a great influx, ठीक है? sorry, PAT has been down 29% on a year-on-year basis and down 20%. Now you can ask me like, Prerna, why? Because the fall in raw material prices. One of the reason is Q2 mein unka PAT had been higher, like Q2 of last year, because they had got some refund in taxes. There was a one-time gain in taxes. इसके वजह से this year का PAT looks low because that PAT was huge last year का PAT, ठीक है? And also this year they have commissioned one of their plants. So वहाँ से that one-time depreciation cost is also high. But overall, अगर आप PBT देखते हो, profit before taxes भी देखते हो, profit before tax also has grown, and there is a good amount of operating leverage there. ठीक है? I do not have the numbers right now for PBT, but you all can check once, and all is good. ठीक है? Now coming to what is happening in the companies, like of course, if you compare, like I told you, compared to any other paints, these people are able to grow 3 to 4 times of the industry rate. ठीक है? And one, like they told, growth is more in T1 and T2 cities. Since they're penetrating into T1 and T2 cities, they're also able to do well here. That is another thing, right? Even the business ka agar aap gross margin dekte ho, gross margin is also stable at 45.2%. Again, one of the reasons adding on to it is the sale and the raw material prices are relatively less. Okay. The important thing is in terms of distribution. Like distribution, I do not understand what Indigo Paints is doing. Like there's something they're doing right. Okay. Like distribution, something they're able to just hit the spot. That Asian Paints and Berger Paints is, of course, Asian Paints and Berger Paints on T3 and T4 mein ja rahe, so a little bit tougher in distribution. But T1 and T2 there's something they're doing absolutely right. They're able to tick that distribution box and give you that volume growth. The other thing is, even in terms of Sirca Paints, if I have to compare, Indigo Paints is a much better player because they are growing their distribution at a faster rate compared to Sirca Paints. The other thing is tinting machine. आप लोगों ने देखा होगा tinting machine is available with the vendor. Now, what is this tinting machine? Because see, एक paint का store में you can't keep all the paint का products, right? Like there will be hundreds. अगर आप green color का ही देखते हो, there are 100 varieties of green color. उस green color में भी different होता है कि like waterproof चाहिए, enamel based चाहिए आपको, और अगर आप enamel based में भी अगर आप देखते हो कि like उसी green color में different price point भी हो सकता है. So it is impossible for that small shop owner to keep, like for that vendor to keep that many amounts of inventory, right? Paints inventory. So what they have is they have this tinting machine. Okay, वहाँ पे they can like mix 2 colors or 3 colors, and let's say if a customer comes and tells they have olive green, how will that olive green look? They can do that color combination and show it to them, and then later once the customer confirms, they can get that paint. So this is what a tinting machine is, and of course this is important as you increase your distribution. So यहाँ पे also the highest number of tinting machines have been added this quarter. Like this time they added 457 tinting machine. Q2 FY23 में same time last year they added 384 tinting machines. ठीक है? So अभी it is the highest number. I think the total tinting machine is around 9114. ठीक है? So that is also a plus point. Like I told you, right? Distribution में तो कुछ सही कर रहा है, क्योंकि वरना तो ऐसा volume growth तो कभी नहीं आएगा. Volume growth and value growth, I do not have the exact, like how do I tell you, like right? अगर आप paints का देखते हो कि like like how do I tell you, every category is different, so you cannot like combine. Like I know other people give volume and value growth on a consolidated basis, but Indigo Paints gives volume and value growth on a on an individual basis. Like putty or distemper mein kitna hua. Let me just immediately find that data. I do not have it, but it must be there. हाँ, so अगर आप देखते हो in overall, again same thing, volume growth has been higher than that of value growth. One of the reason, like I told you, अभी तो you can't increase the price. अगर आप price पे increase करते हो, आपका जो middleman है, retail है, and the vendor will be there, they will come back at you like, भाई तू क्यों price increase कर रहा है? अभी तो raw material तो ठीक हुआ है ना. So that is one thing. So of course they do not have that liberty right now. But having said that, the volume growth is higher than value growth. ठीक है? अगर आप cement paints या putty को देखते हो, which is one category, वहाँ पे value growth has been 47%, whereas volume growth has been 50%. अगर आप emulsions का देखते हो, वहाँ पे value growth has been 15.4%, volume growth is 20%. Enamels और wood coatings अगर आप देखते हो, value growth is 3%, volume growth is 5.4. Primers, distempers, the low value products जो है, value growth is 26.6 and volume growth is 28.8. So overall, do you see, in all the aspects, volume growth is greater than that of value growth, right? So there also, again, you can on a like you can make that you understand right now growth is primarily driven by volumes. ठीक है, अगर आप अभी हम उनका केपेक्स के बारे में अगर थोड़ा बात करेंगे तो उनका जो एक प्लांट था, right, they which they were setting up in Tamil Nadu, right? They were setting up in Tamil Nadu. Voto, it is fully like it has been running. I think commercial production has started for it in Tamil Nadu. Okay, and also one of the reason PAT has been affected because यहाँ पे depreciation cost, it increase in depreciation cost before the commencement of this plant. Okay, so वहाँ पे तो जो capex उन्होंने करा था, and this, remember this, Indigo Paints didn't have this water based paints and everything. So this was started for that, and now they'll get into that portion also. Okay, that is one thing. और दूसरा है कि लाइक वो उन्होंने लास्ट क्वार्टर पे एप्पल कैम लेके एक कंपनी को अक्वायर किया था. सो दिस एप्पल कैम इज अ महाराष्ट्र बेस्ड कंपनी विच वर्क्स इन B2B, लाइक यू नो इन B2B सेल्स. लाइक ये बड़ा बड़ा जो मेट्रो का कंस्ट्रक्शन होगा एंड अदर रेप्यूटेड इंडस्ट्रीज या कंपनीज में होते हैं, these people sell they sell the paints and some chemical solvents. So Abhi, even Apple Cam also has grown really well. In fact, until now, Apple Cam used to be there only in Maharashtra. Okay. Right now, they are also moving, like taking taking the help of Indigo Paints ka distribution ka game, and they're trying to like expand into different parts of the world. So वहाँ पे भी एक expansion हो रहा है. ठीक है. The other thing is they've opened 2 depot, one in East and the other one in West India. Last one है कि like एक water based plant और एक solvent based plant. They're also starting that in Jodhpur. ठीक है. I think that is around 90,000 to 1,20,000 capacity for each, water-based and solvent-based respectively. Another, I think a lot of people might be know or might not know is the advantage the advantage that Indigo Paints has over any other paint companies. उनका जो production या company होता है, like the entire manufacturing base, it is in Jodhpur. So Jodhpur से जो क्या बोलते paint बनाने के लिए जो two important raw material जो है, I forgot the two things, like one is like a kind of rock or a metal, and the both are are very famously available in Rajasthan, and their plant is very closer to whoever this company mines this, like for example JK Steel and other companies that are there which mines this product. Their company is very very closer to that. Okay, so they save a lot in terms of logistics and transportation, whereas other people depend, like whether you talk even about Asian Paints and in Berger Paints, these people import a lot of these raw material price. So that is why also one of the reasons why you see that their margins are a bit better compared to the other players in the industry. I think in Asian Paints, for the same raw material right now, to make it even more lucrative for them, they have this backward integration setup, a VAM backward integration setup somewhere in Dubai, and also they have a partnership in Fujairah. They have made a partnership with the company in Fujairah, to dig this limestones and everything, right? So that even Asian Paints is doing right now, a backward integration for the same thing, for which Indigo Paints already has. Okay. Now in terms of like the last thing I want to highlight is like one good thing is, in spite of the demand being weaker, Q2 में weak होता है, and plus this, like I told you, Kerala में उनका ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा sale होता है, right? Like earlier it used to be north of 50% the revenue contribution, but right now it is hardly 25% and all. Okay. In Kerala, actually, if you see, there has been like the sales aren't good, the demand isn't picking up. Okay. And it is a part and parcel of a paint industry, अगर आप देखते हो, because India is such a wide geography hai, and such wide, the taste and culture are completely different. Kya hota hai? Certain times, certain states will do well and certain states will not do well. So this time it is Kerala. Like Kerala has not been doing well in terms of demand, in terms of sales. But in spite of that, they were able to clock in a good 15% growth in top line. This also shows you that they're reducing their dependency on Kerala, and the distribution and the expansion phase that is there is going absolutely well. Okay. The other thing also they have is the advantage they have is, like I told you, in terms of tinting machine. Why are they able to, like, see for example, एक vendor जो होता है उसके पास एक ही tinting machine नहीं होता है, वो Asian Paints का भी tinting machine होता है और Berger Paints का भी होता है, like that is what they do. There is no these days a vendor that is there that is exclusively working for you, because even he'll have to think for himself, right, किस कहाँ पे उसका margin ज़्यादा होता है, but they are able to like get these. Now obviously, right, अगर एक वेंडर के पास 2 टिंटिंग मशीन ऑलरेडी है तो वो दूसरा पेंट का टिंटिंग मशीन क्यों एंडोर्स करेगा? One of the reasons they're able to do this is, of course, they're able to garner the trust. The second thing is, जो भी टिंटिंग मशीन लगाता है, ठीक है, if I'm a vendor and if I'm putting out a tinting machine, I will again have to spend my own money to get an external PC or a laptop to connect this thing and see the result. ठीक है, whereas with Indigo Paints का जो tinting machine है, right, they already have an inbuilt PC in that. So the kya bolte, so the vendor doesn't have to go and put an extra effort to get his own PC or laptop. So that is why I was telling you there is no individual vendor these days. There is only like one vendor will be catering to two or three. That is in spite if that vendor is catering to, like, let's say Asian and Berger Paints is willing to get again Indigo Paints on board and put up their tinting machine, and they are able to increase this tinting machine, like I told you, highest ever tinting machine, right? 487 tinting machine, 457 tinting machine at Kia. That is because of this same reason. Okay, like the fact that that I told you how unique their tinting machine is compared to the other people in the market. Okay, so overall, that's about Indigo Paints. Okay, like there is nothing. How do I put you? Like, of course, when you talk about the entire paints, they're the only interesting company that I can think of. Like something where something significant is happening. Like if I tell top line is there, bottom line is there, good operating leverage, demand is there for the product, volume or value growth hai, and volume growth is more than value growth. And of course, in terms of, if I have to tell you also, expansion and capex bhi ho raha hai, and they're very much willing to. And I think you can see in terms of the management also that aggression is there to grow right? So overall, a great company. But having said that, yes, of course, if like it is a 15% top line, like it is a 15% growth engine at the end of the day. So that is the only thing. It is not a company that is like all that's in a consumption base. It's not growing at 30%. Other than that, everything good. So yeah, that's that about Indigo Paints. They have, the company has performed well, and nothing to complain about. Yeah. So that's it about the entire paint sector. And I think I forgot to cover this. Yeah, the last thing I will have to tell is in Q3. If you see, of course, Q3 may the entire how do I put this? The entire paints industry will perform well. Okay, because one of the reason is Q3 May, you will always see that paints company do really well, right? Everybody has their own reasons to do well, of course, in any consumption. But one of the reasons that paints company do really well compared to any other companies, क्योंकि दिवाली में उनका ज़्यादा sale होता है. If you see the northern part of India, north of India, people tend to paint their house or homes during Diwali. ठीक है? So usually after the monsoon season ends and before the Diwali starts, there is this 10-day period का gap where all of this happens. That is why Q3 का sale is like boom. ठीक है? This time, what has happened? Last time, October 18th, October 12th, yeah, 11th May, I think last week of October or something, there was Diwali. So Diwali was preponed last time, and monsoon was also monsoon was delayed, and so as a result, that 10 days ka gap jo tha na, that was not at all there. This time, Diwali has been postponed to into Q3, right, into November. So last time jo Diwali tha October May, is saal to Diwali hai November May. So as a result, what has happened? There's a lot of gap between the monsoon ending and the Diwali starting. So overall, it could be a really great Q3 for paint season, of course. So what is important is if you hold a paint industry, if you hold any paint company, what is important for you to is one, of course, track and see that jo bhi ye Q3 mein ho raha hai, it is a sustainable change. Can they continue to do the same kind of volume growth and value growth going forward? Can they sustain the top line at that level, or is it just a one-time quarter thing? That is very important for you to see, because a lot of people might come like, oh, Asian Paints 20% ka kiya, all in all and great. But that is just a one quarter thing because of Q3, right? So overall, even if you listen to the management commentary, like if you see the entire, agar Asian Paints पढ़ लो, Berger Paints पढ़ लो, या Indigo Paints कोई भी पढ़ लो, ठीक है, कमेंट्री तो एक ही, सब तो एक ही चीज बोल रहे हैं. पहले बोल रहे हैं कि लाइक इंडस्ट्री पे अच्छा चल रहा है क्योंकि इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट बूम है, ऑटो साइकिल अप है, और ऑटो साइकिल में पैसेंजर व्हीकल्स का पेंट्स बहुत अच्छे से कर रहे हैं. बिकॉज एज यू ऑल नो, अगर आप कोई भी ऑटो सेल्स देखते हो, टाटास का देखते हो, you will see that the passenger vehicles, especially that SUV side, is doing really well. So of course here they're doing well. But having said that, अगर आप देखते हो industrial portion of the book for both Asian and Berger Paints is not huge. A lot of it is coming from decorative paints only. ठीक है? So nothing great. The second thing is everybody talking about is like Q2 has been really bad because festivities have all been shifted to Q3. The third common point that they're telling is like August was, क्या बोलते हैं, August उतना अच्छा नहीं था क्योंकि rain के वजह से lot of unseasonal rains था. September में demand started picking up. October में तो demand और भी अच्छा था. Going forward, we are seeing November will be even more better than that of September. So having said that, that is what it is. Everybody's management commentary same. Like I told you, Q3 is something to watch out for and to see again if Indigo is able to sustain what it has been doing. Overall, like I always tell, one quarter is good, that is great, but track karo every quarter and see where the company stands and if they're able to deliver what they promise or if they're able to walk the talk and if situation changes. Having said that, is that about the paint industry, and I shall see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.